Micah 2 and verse 1. Woe to those who devise iniquity and work out evil on their beds. At morning light they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. Do you know what it means? Meaning through the night, their mind is on the flesh and on the world. In their heart, they're already planning tomorrow's programs. All the wickedness they have to do. Devising new methods of looting or rioting or orgies or drunken parties. So how literally a nation is being brought down. Look at what's happening on the streets now. Over 1 million people have already left New York. I think New York City is gone. It will never come back to its old. In US, Black Lives Movement support has come down from 65 at its peak to 53. And they're not fighting for black lives. They're not. It's nothing to do with black lives. When is the last time you heard about George Floyd from anybody's mouth? Nobody's talking about George Floyd. George Floyd is forgotten. This is about communism. This is how the communists need a cause to create this agitation, to make people so miserable, so they will say, okay, only if we vote them in, we will have peace. And they come to power. That's what they're trying to do. They're fighting to bring socialism there. You see, when your heart is inflamed by the flesh or for the world, you lose the sense of judgment. You lose the sense of what is right and what is wrong. And what happens? There's nobody who's calling upon God. That's what the world has gone into. I'm not talking about just one country. I'm talking about, we think this is only them. It's not them. Every nation is the same. Nothing is different anywhere in the world. Those who have the money go that way. And those who have power to do it are doing it and dying also. And everybody is asking for prosperity. For what? Where will you go if God gives you money? What is the route you will take if God gives you money? God says, I made you wealthy. I made you prosperous like no other nation in America. What did you use it for? Now let me ask you this question. Do you know in US how many people leave their inheritance to their animals? When people die on the streets, drug abuse, living on the road, everything, they look there, make a trust for their animals. In many of the Latin American countries, they're fighting for it, that they want to marry their animals. You cannot stop me. Because once you open that door, the definition of marriage is changed between a man and a woman, then you cannot say it cannot be with. So you're married to your animals anyway. Talk about anything, it's passed across as love. Now they only love their neighbor. So homosexuality, lesbianism, transgenderism, you talk about anything, abortion, you name anything that is an abomination to God, they fight for those rights. What is right? Right to kill your baby. Right to have any manner of sex. Don't tell me. Isn't that? Lent is supposed to be the most holy season. What is the day before it? Mardi Gras. Just have a blast. Everything you can do. We have appropriated all the pagan festivals. Those are now rights. Current rights are those. You see, much of the COVID spread in US also has because of their crazy parties. The way that nation has, one side, has gone down. Isn't it true? Who holds all your debt? China. You opened up a country and says anybody can come invest and buy, and also who owns most of your real estate, the good estate? Japan, China. Even Disney is owned by them. NBA is owned by them. The Communist Party of China owns the Democratic National Convention. They own you. That's why they will not speak against them. Not one word in that entire 4 days was spoken against China. Not one word. And it was Joe Biden who brought them into the World Trade Organization and destroyed the world by getting China in. Should have kept that communist nation as they were, so they wouldn't destroy the whole world. Now the whole world they are owning, going and building and putting every African nation, every Asian nation into debt. They hold them. And that's America's real threat. I always say Russia is not their threat. Communism is gone in Russia. Russia has weapons. They don't have manpower. You cannot be a real power with weapons alone. You need manpower. That's something China has. Vladimir Putin is there. But if he falls, Russia will collapse. You need to realize it's a dictator over there. But the dictators can any day be taken out. You don't have an ideology supporting. China is a different thing. It's an ideology. It's a dangerous ideology. And you fed that ideology. You made them great. You did it. That's how communism works. It's a mob mentality. That's how they do. Because in communism, there is no God and there is no right or wrong. Remember, the end justifies the means. People do not realize this is Baal worship. You look at America, you walk through the streets, the people still say nothing. They made God look like Baal. That's what they did. There's a religious element to all this, okay? Okay, you look at a nation. America is aging, losing its strength. Just literally like this is one man who's standing between their complete collapse. Do you know who's the first Republican president? Abraham Lincoln. He's the one who freed the blacks. So what are they doing with the Democrat Party? Where are all the blacks? With those who enslaved. How can you get blind? The blindness of Israel, spiritual Israel, is worse than the blindness of Gentile nations. Gentile nations were born blind. They became blind. That's why Trump keeps on saying, I have done the most for the blacks after Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln gave them emancipation from slavery, and he's trying to bring emancipation from financial slavery, economic emancipation. You need both to be able to stand on your feet and make your own decisions. My job is to look at the public policy of a politician, not his private life. That's none of my. He's not a pastor sitting over there. He's a politician sitting. Look at our freedom fighters. What men they were. Think about it. I mean, you see history being played over and over. And I mean, you look at this. This is how Israel went down. This is how this nation is going down. Isn't that what they have done? It's a Christian nation. Britain is gone. They did it. Finished. There's no Christian voice anymore there. Germany is gone. France is gone. Italy is gone. Western Europe is entirely gone. Nothing there. They're no longer. They are into post-Christian era. Canada is gone. Latin America was never Christian. They were Catholic. Mexico is into witchcraft and in the hands of the drug cartels. So there is in between stands one big nation. US stands. City shining on the hill. That was US. Right? It's on its last stages. Unless somebody stands up and stops it for a season. Ultimately it will go down if God does not give them 4 more years. But we need breathing space for the rest of the world need a few more years of mercy. So these are final warnings. That's what God is talking about. This is a picture of the last days. Prophesied, spoken, New and Old Testament everywhere. That's why God told Israel, He says, on that day I will have more pity on Sodom and Gomorrah. They did not know. He had pity on Nineveh. He said, they did not know. They don't know where the right hand from the left. He will have pity on our nations because they don't know. You are a Christian nation, right? You guys are supposed to know. What are you doing? It's a question God is asking. And the people say nothing. If you look at the whole world church as Israel, Ephraim has mixed himself among the peoples. You know what Ephraim means? Ephraim means double fruitful. But he has mixed with the peoples. God has blinded you. And he does not know it. That's what happened to the Christian world. So God says, Revelation 18:4 and 5, I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins and lest you receive of her plagues. For her sins have reached to heaven and God has remembered her iniquities. The only one thing, you have to come out. No choice. You have to come out of this world. Come out of this system.